He broke out on that 3rd and 6. I really would be hard pressed to say that anybody else gets out on that 3rd and 6, makes a guy miss with a juke in small amount of space, and then gets your first down to continue the drive. Like I just don't think there's another quarterback in college football that can do that.
When you spy a quarterback, it usually leaves that middle of the field and those seams wide open, because usually when they're dropping into pass coverage with that, you only have a certain amount of guys, right? Those should be wide open. You should be able to get your 12-yard hooks right in the flat there.
Our offense versus their defense. This defense, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, man.
The young freshman quarterback, the electric crowd, 12:30 on a Saturday on Montlake. Dude, I'm telling you, we get some turnovers from this Julian Sand kid. We flip this game on the head. You just never know what might happen.
Welcome back to the Dubbed Up Podcast. We're eating apples here today as UW defeats Wazoo, and we look forward to Ohio State. I got my guys Izzo and Noah with me. Fellas, how are we feeling after an Apple Cup weekend? Izzo, start with me.
I feel great. I mean, I think I'm so distracted by the Ohio State game. I don't know about you guys. I tried not to look forward, past that game, but it was really hard not to. All in all, it went about as I think the three of us expected. I think Wazoo should have been starting Eckhouse from the jump. That they definitely showed up for that game. It wasn't a lackluster team. Wazoo brought their all. It was loud. We just did what we needed to do. And your stars showed up. Denzel showed up. Jonah showed up. Damon. I mean, the first drive of the game, we'll get into this, but the first drive of the game should have ended earlier, much earlier. Like he broke out on that 3rd and 6, and I really would be hard pressed to say that anybody else gets out on that 3rd and 6, makes a guy miss with a juke in small amount of space, and then gets your first down to continue the drive. Like I just don't think there's another quarterback in college football that can do that. And then be as efficient, then go 16 for 19, throw for 300, then get another 100 on the ground. Like in a rivalry game on the road, you can't tell me you'd rather have somebody else back there.
Okay.
So yeah,
Right.
Those are my general thoughts. We did what we were supposed to do. We took care of business, but now we got something bigger in front of us.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to get more into that. Noah, how are you feeling after what you saw Saturday?
Yeah, all I asked was to paint the Palouse purple, baby, and that thing is purple. Mikey, what was your prediction? I swear you had Dogs at 59.
I think you had like 59-7 or 59-10.
No, I had 48-3. One of you guys had 59. I think it was you, Izzo. I think you had 59-10 is what I believe.
Man, okay, I like it, man.
We might have to go check the tape
check the tape for me. But I know somebody. I know somebody in the crew, and it was not me. As one of you guys had 59 on the dot, so I love that. You started hearing rumblings a little bit about Jed, man, remembering last year. I think Jed remembered last year. We're up 52-24, and he keeps the starters in. We run that little corner route to Amari Evans. 50-something yard touchdown, 58 yards to go up 59-24, and that was the final score. But man, new Apple Cup record, putting 59 on the old Cougies, dude. They ain't happy, but explosive, man. 473 yards, 174 on the ground. This offense is ready to go. Everybody can kind of talk about, you haven't played a Power 4 team, and you kind of seen it this week getting snubbed out of the top 25. I think people are pretty frustrated about that. I want to jump into that real quick, Izzo.
Oh, we will.
I'll tell you. Okay, but I'll tell you what though, if we haven't played a Power 4 team yet, which we have not, this team is about as efficient as it gets. I think we scored a touchdown or scored a point on the last 21 straight drives. I mean, that's about as efficient as you get, man. So if you can garner one thing out of the first 3 weeks of this preseason, it's efficiency at just an all-time high.
So you're telling me that they were mad at Jed Fish hold on a sec. Sorry, I had to drink some Cougar tears because I don't care. They deserve it. Jed, I love you for doing it. I tell you what, sometimes you need to light a fire under somebody's ass, and if they want that rivalry to continue, come back and make it work. But what you said about getting snubbed in the AP is big, because a lot of us are feeling like that after the offensive output we've had the last few weeks. Noah, how are you feeling about this The AP not even giving us a sniff. Even our own writers not giving us a sniff.
Not one vote.
Yeah, there's the Reddit Twitter does a good job that they bring up that graphic that has like all of the different logos on it. And you're telling me that there's 25 teams throughout the country, and these are votes from just all over the place. You're telling me there's 25 teams that are unequivocally better than the University of Washington right now, and I know people are going to say you haven't played a Power Four team like I already mentioned, but I'm sorry, man. The efficiency that you've seen on offense, there's some things there that we still want out of our defense. That's it right there, Izzo. But I mean, goodness, some of these teams on here, like you got BYU on here.
Illinois.
Come on, Illinois just got smacked by 50 burger, and they're still on here. I know you wanted to bring up Griff's tweet too, but it's just like, goodness gracious, man.
It's every year, man. It's every year that it's Mike Penix getting us to where he got us. We were getting snubbed during the beginning of that year after we put it on tape. If you're an AP poll voter, you just don't stay up for the games. Like they're not watching all the games. Why do we have this? At least move it to top 15 then. If you guys can't watch these teams and watch these games, all right, that's fine. Maybe you're not given the amount of time that you need to evaluate all these games, but you have a job, do your job. There's nobody is rightfully watching that game and going, yeah, this team doesn't deserve to be in the top 25 because of their strength of opponents. Nobody's playing super strong opponents. Not all of the top 25 is playing like world beaters. Beyond that, we're doing what a top 25 team is supposed to do against these teams and blow the doors off the game. It's incredibly frustrating. I'm not sure at what impact a week 3 ranking has on your team down the stretch, but
yeah, I mean it doesn't, but still.
Griff, God bless him, he's good buddy of ours in the Discord and on Twitter and whatnot. And he put it plainly, and I think this is really hard, really difficult to argue. He says, you know how I know UW football should be ranked? I can't find a single example of the number 1 ranked team in the country having a spread under 10 against an unranked team since the year 2000. Now it's moved to 8 even as far as when this podcast is getting recorded.
I think everybody expected us to be 3-0. And because everybody expected us to be 3-0, they don't really care how we got there. And
I don't even think that they're even viewing it.
Exactly. They just see we beat 3 teams that they consider lower level teams that we should beat. They don't see that we hung 70 on one. They don't see that we went to the Palouse and hung 59 on them at home in a rivalry game. And I think they're waiting to see what we do against Ohio State. Because I think even if we show out, say we lose by under 10 to Ohio State, I think there's a very good chance we're ranked after that.
That's how they'll justify it too. They'll be like, well, in reality, they're not watching. They didn't watch the Apple Cup. Yeah. Let's just keep it a buck real quick.
And what's crazy about that? It was on national TV, CBS.
It's annoying.
It wasn't an 8:00 game. It wasn't like Big Ten After Dark.
It wasn't Big Ten Network. It wasn't Peacock. It was on CBS. And the thing is this is a game where this is the same thing that happened to Mike Penix and Jaden Daniels. This is the same thing that we're right in the heart of it with Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge. It's East Coast, West Coast. It's when the majority of the voters sit in the Northeast, sit in the South. That's where you see the issues. The problem is there's a lot of talent over here, man, and there's a lot of just people showing out. And if you don't, here's the thing. Here's what I'm just gonna say. This is a lot, and we can move on. If you're going to go week in, there's only 12 weeks, 13 weeks in college football. If you don't want to sit here and watch Damon Williams, you are missing out on the next showstopper in college football. So miss it.
We're in the Big Ten now, man. This is a national conference. You watch the games. Enough said.
And you know what? If they miss out, they're going to eventually know.
Yep.
And that's what they should have known from the jump. Now, let's go back and let's look at the Purple Rain on the Palouse, because it was a beautiful thing, especially in that fourth quarter. Izzo, if you're looking at this game, what's the first thing that sticks out to you that makes you go, man, that feels good to get the Apple Cup back here in Seattle?
The stars look like stars. It wasn't perfect up front, but Demond. He mitigates the impact of offensive line misses. And there wasn't a ton. The first drive of the game, you saw Carver Willis blow an assignment, and then that resulted, in a sack that borderline should have ended the drive. Luckily, it was on first down, and Demond did his thing. We should be overwhelmingly positive. This team, like we said, did what they should do to be a ranked team. This is one of the best offenses in the country, and that's without question. We kind of had a suspicion that if the offensive line was even halfway decent, that's where we would be. So check mark checked. Denzel Boston, again, he just does what he does. He's a sure-handed guy that's going to get open. Doesn't matter who you put on him. He's going to be open at some points of the game. And if you throw it up to him, he's catching it. That foot drag in the back of the end zone on that first drive, that pass was perfect, but Denzel made that happen. And 9 times out of 10, the receiver you're throwing to can't make that play, and he does. So we got to call that out. Jonah, I think I can't tell if he got hurt maybe a little bit in this game. He had 12 carries, but even then, super efficient in his attempts and his carries, his catches. He had over 100 yards receiving. That's awesome, because in a game he's going to have 12 carries in or what have you. He still gets his 170 yards all purpose, and that's phenomenal.
Don't you think is it really
3 tutties too? Don't forget the 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
Don't you think that was really more just like game flow, just kind of how the game played out? I never felt like he got like nicked up or anything on that. It just seemed like kind of game flow. I mean, because he looked healthy catching the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah, I think I wonder if he more of just kind of got banged up and they still played him type of thing. Because there was one, and I'll try to find the clip of him on the sideline. I can't remember if it was after his catch and scamper when Demond extended the play and he gets hit and he looks a little ginger coming up. So who knows? You might be right though. Like game script calls for it.
Plus, I think they were just keying on him, because if you noticed when they started doing the RPOs and Demond was keeping it, they had no answer for that. And then they started using Jonah as a blocking back, and he pancaked somebody on Demond's touchdown run up the right side.
Yeah. So, he's just doing his thing. This is like I said this before in a podcast, I think either last week or the week before, but the offense is going to live or die with its stars, and it shined, and they did what they needed to do. I mean, Demond throwing for 300 and then running for 100. I know I'm rounding out stats here, but he's just different, man. There's no other way to put it. So we'll talk more about the offense. We'll talk more about the defense. It was really good at a high level. That a key focus for us heading into this game with a bye week was to get turnovers, and you saw guys punching the ball out. You saw Dylan Robinson, generate a fumble. You saw 2 picks from McLaughlin, and Devin Bryant tipped that ball up the first pick. I mean, they were going after the ball, and that's what you want to see. We need takeaways to compete in the Big Ten, and that's what happened in this game. So super positive. Durfee, I mean, we'll get into it, but so happy for him too.
No, what about you?
Yeah, man. When I look at this offense, man, dude, Izzo kind of hit it.
I'm saying what stuck out. We're going to get into the offense here in a minute. Yeah.
What stuck out? I mean, I think overall, I mean, just the utter dominance on the offensive side of the ball. If you want to get into a track meet with this team, I don't care if it's Wazoo, I don't care if it's Ohio State, Michigan. You want to get in a track meet with this team, and you want to go back and forth. I don't know how you prepare week in and week out to focus on Demond Williams. I mean, he is becoming, I'm not sure why he's not in these Heisman odds in Vegas and on these offshore sites, but he should be. I mean, Jonah Coleman should be in these Heisman odds. I think he's got to have close to 10 touchdowns by now.
I think he's got 11.
11. Okay. Yeah. I mean, the offense is explosive. I mean, I've said it 5 times now. We've only been on the pod 25 minutes or so. I mean, this is where we want to be, man. And there's some more that I want to get out of this defense, man. Come on, man. I'm telling you, each and every week we're looking for some war daddies. Parker came in, man. He looked good on a couple snaps he saw. So hopefully he's coming in and getting healthy. We saw Ontario Thompson make some plays. Bryce Butler get a fumble recovery. Durfee, man, pressures after pressure after pressure. That's what we're gonna need, man.
Linus Davis had a couple nice plays too.
McLaughlin, I thought was war daddy worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Such a sure tackler. We'll talk about it, man. But that kick, thank God we brought him in, man.
Bro, it's looking like a genius move right now. But let's go look at the UW offense. I mean, they hung 59 points on them. Let's kind of dissect what we saw, because It felt good, especially since we did get to bring that trophy back to Seattle. No, I'm going to start with you on this one. When you're really breaking down what this offense did successfully, it was a little bit different than what we were saying we thought was going to happen to start the game. We thought it was going to be, I mean, personally, I thought it was going to be us pushing them around and trying to run the ball a ton. And we ended up throwing the ball a lot. What did you think? What do you take from it?
Yeah, no, you're spot on. When you watch this game, I was actually texting both of you guys like these guys are loading the box. I mean, we're talking 8 dudes in the box multiple different times, and they were kind of okay with putting their cornerbacks on an island versus Rome. Like I'm sorry, versus Denzel. He reminded me a lot about Rome of Rome.
Freudian slip.
Yeah, but I'll get to that. But yeah, I mean, but man, Denzel Boston, man, if you're gonna go one-on-one with him, man, you got to put some bass in your voice when you talk about this man. Dude, Denzel Boston is becoming another. I mean, he's a top 45 pick. And,
wide receiver 1.
I mean, dude, if you're gonna put him in single coverage on him, Damon is going to expose that all day. And dude, I'm gonna go to it right now. But deja vu, man, in Pullman when I was watching this game. Man, those 2 seeds to Boston, the first touchdown, and I think the first touchdown of the fourth quarter, man, those look familiar, man. Penix to Rome. Man, just Boston with those big old mitts, catching that ball, just snatching it out of the air. I mean, that reminded me so much of Rome. Damon is a first-class man. He's a first-class terrorist organization to defensive coordinators, man. I mean, he is what nightmares are made of. And I don't know if this Ohio State, Matt Patricia, dude, I promise you he ain't getting a lot of sleep this week trying to figure out what to do with this guy. But him throwing the ball out of the backfield to the running backs too, that's just a whole nother weapon that I wasn't really, not that we wouldn't do that, not that we want to see the screen game, not that we want to see the rollouts, whatever it was, to these guys, but the amount of that he just got out of traffic and then just had little dump offs to his running backs. I mean, that's a whole nother dimension in this offense. It's just so difficult to really contain. And finally, my thing is this, John Mills, dude. We're 3 games in, and the amount of tweets, the amount of national coverage, you go to CBS Sports Network, the Monday morning shows, the podcast. This guy is already becoming a Husky legend 3 games in. He's 17 years old, starting in the Big Ten. I mean, he had a beautiful pancake block to finish off a nice long drive and get a touchdown. It's just, I mean, dude, John Mills, man, I think Izzo or Cigar Concierge, somebody's talked about him being a freshman All-American. He's on track for sure.
You know what's crazy about that too is on Jonah's first touchdown of the second half, Pocky was in and had the big block, and he's quietly playing really, really, really well. It's just when you got Mills, who's playing phenomenal right now, people aren't seeing that, but heck, he's ready to go. Like if you notice it, he's ready to go. All right, Izzo, what did you think of the offense? Like, what are you breaking down when you're looking at them and it's really, that's the juice of this team?
Yeah, I'm going to try to not call out too many things that we all saw that I thought were, somewhat obvious. What we already talked about, Denzel and, Jonah doing his thing and Damon just being an absolute freak. But what I loved specifically that I saw as a wrinkle in the play calling was Damon design runs. And I know that's kind of a tentative subject because we're seeing him take too many hits. But luckily on a lot of these runs, he didn't take any hits because he went untouched.
God, he did take a big one though on the sideline.
He did undeniably. But there was a couple. I think the second touchdown of the game, it was either second or third, that there was a design run and Jonah laid a beautiful block. As a party gets out in space, and by the way, as a party keeps playing like this, he's not going to play his entire career here. He'll go to the NFL early. He is too athletic, too big, and he's playing unbelievably well, like arguably best offensive lineman on this team, type of thing.
Do you know what he graded out at for this game?
I think he was top offensive lineman on the week again. Yeah, highest grade pass blocking, 88.1, which has got to be top 10 nationally, I would imagine, in this game.
Yeah. What was he run blocking?
71.
Okay, that's still really good.
Oh, he's got to be top 5 nationally, like in Power 4 football. Absolutely. I mean, that's back-to-back weeks where he's graded out absolutely elite.
Yeah, I mean, you see kind of archetypes framing themselves. Like Carver Willis struggles sometimes in pass pro, but he's so big and so kind of gifted as an offensive lineman. I wouldn't say he's necessarily big in terms of like length. He'll probably play guard at the next level, but he's a run blocking guy. Like he's definitely going to be a very good guard at the next level. And then you have Azaparty, who kind of does both. He's so athletic, he can do both very well. Mills is becoming that guy who can do both very well, but he's still so young. He's going to grade out better in the run blocking game. Landon is doing both very well. One thing I will say is as well about Denzel is that he gets out and blocks, and that's opening things up for the left side. If you look at the grades and you look at our tendencies on the offensive line, we tend to run more successfully to the left side behind Carver, behind John, Landon, and frankly, Denzel lines up a lot on the left. And there's no secret. Like, you know what you're getting over there. And then if you put Quentin Moore over on that side too, it's a sure thing for Jonah. And I'm glad to see that because he's earned it after last year. He didn't have a sure side of the line that he was going to run behind. So those are the things that I picked up. Like I said, Hugh Moore he's an unsung hero in terms of what you're going to see on the stat sheet. But when you look at the grades, he's just Mr. Consistent when it comes to blocking, and he allows you to operate this offense as you want to without there just being guys in your face constantly for Demond. When you see clean pockets, a lot of the times because Hugh Moore is in there shutting somebody down and chip blocking and things like that. So I think when it comes to how we operate, we are very close to we're not perfect up front, but we're headed the right direction. And we talked about this 3-game runway heading into the Big Ten. It's really important that we had that heading up into Ohio State to at a minimum know your strengths and your weaknesses up front. And so that's pretty much it. Landon deserves a ton of credit, frankly. He has stepped up massively. He's not coming off this big injury like he was last year, straight off of it where he gets cleared a week before he has to start playing. Yeah. I mean, those are the main big things that I wanted to call out as like things that were maybe a little less obvious. And as we're watching this clip, Amari Evans getting the touchdown, that was fantastic to see as well. But yeah, those are the main things I wanted to call out.
Okay. And I have to agree with you on that, Amari. It was nice to see Amari get that big touchdown pass at the end of the game, get his feet wet, and really like have a good welcome wagon to Husky football. I have 2 things, one positive, one negative. The positive thing was, what I really, really liked and I want to see a lot more of? You saw that play where Jonah lined up in the slot and they had Jordan Washington in the backfield right on the goal line, and Jonah got the handoff and went around the right side and scored. I like the idea of having 2 of your running backs on the field at the same time. And I like that, especially going into this week against Ohio State, where you're going to keep them guessing because if it's an RPO type play, they don't know if Demond's going to get it, they don't know if Jonah's going to get it, and they don't know if Washington's going to get it. And I think that keeps them on their toes. Or Adam Muhammad would be another great one, especially down there on the goal line. That was the positive. That one really I thought was dope, and I want to see a lot more of that. The one that I thought was kind of negative was, Decker DeGraff really struggled run blocking. And it was very obvious on a few plays that I was like, this needs to get shored up because it was a problem. And it happened more than once. Like, it was something where I was like, oh, what happened? And then when I went back and rewatched the play, I was like, damn, he got blown up, and that's what literally cost the play. Do you think his inability to run block is going to cost him snaps as we get into Big Ten play, and we have to have a tight end on the field that can actually hold down the edge?
I think the short answer on that is yes, because you have like one of the best pass blocking tight ends in the country, if not the best on your roster. So I think it's probably already costing him snaps right now just because of that. But I don't know if it's a thing that's going to be like a massive difference maker as we go down the stretch, but I could be wrong. If it's a liability, they're not gonna feel confident putting him out there. And there's that tight end room, man, it's loaded. I know there's a lot of young guys, but a lot of those young guys are known for blocking, like Baron Naone, who saw some snaps in this game too.
Well, I was thinking Kate Eldridge was the big name.
And Kate Eldridge too. Yeah.
No. What do you think?
It's easy for me, man. It's he looked to me like he got caught flat-footed multiple times. Mm-hmm. You have to be the hammer not be the nail man. And dude, go out and lay somebody out. That's yeah, it is Wazoo, you know, and they are the little brothers. We go put them on their ass, man. It's easy.
Okay. All right. I think. Do you guys have anything else you want to go over with the offense again, or are you guys ready to switch?
No, we can switch. We can get after it.
All right. Now the defense really showed up. There were some things that were not so good. There were some things that were really, really good, and stuff like the turnovers that made you feel like, wow, the defense is really starting to turn the corner. You know what? No, I'm going to start with you. You're the defensive guy. What do you think about the defensive performance here? What do you think was really good, and what do you think we need to improve upon?
Yeah. In the preview, we thought you'd see a lot of our base front, and I think that's really what you saw. I think it was really vanilla actually to kind of start the game. I think we were kind of sitting back and kind of seeing what Eckhouse could do, and he was kind of doing whatever he wanted. I think at one point, he had a lot of those like back foot throws, that he was completing. But I think at one point, I feel like I saw that he was like 22 of his first 24 or something along those lines. I mean, it was. He was kind of just like, dink and dunking us, up the field, making some nice throws. But once we started bringing the heat, once we started showing five, showing six, bringing five, he didn't like that pressure in his face, man. Zevi turned into the old Bryant quarterback, man. That the Division 3.
I think it was good there. So
yeah, that's fine.
Still,
it's still Division 3
it's
football.
still Bryant.
Yeah, but man, it was nice to see us bringing heat. Durfee, 3 QB hits, multiple pressures. I think I saw a tweet from PFF said that Durfee had 11 QB pressures.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes,
man, I mean, I know he was all over the field, but I mean, goodness, 11. Dude, how about the young ball hawk, man? Dude, I'm Dylan Robinson. I mean, dude, first 2 plays, immediate impact, come in, put your nose on the ball. Make a tackle, next play, make a tackle. And then what did we hear early in the week? Ryan Walters was talking about, we need these guys to strip the ball. We need to go punch the ball. Then here comes the young ball hog, Dylan Robinson, man. The Peanut Tillman punch, man, and gets a ball. Walter what's the 92 big boy? Bryce.
Butler.
Bryce Butler comes in, gets a phone recovery. But here's a stat that for everybody who's really nervous about our defense. We just couldn't get off the field. Dude, even though Eckhouse had all these kind of throws that kind of kept the drives going. Dude, they were only 6 of 13 on third down. That's under 50%. That's something to kind of hang your hat on as we move forward. Is when they got into third down, they only converted less than 50% of the time. That's something that I think we can be a positive moving forward.
Okay, let me ask you a question real quick.
Yep.
We did give up 277 yards passing to them. We saw Leroy Bryant get exposed a few times, really hardcore. How do you see the players like stepping into the starting lineup moving forward? Do you think they give Leroy Bryant another chance? If, let's say, Takario can't go Saturday against Ohio State, what do you see the starting 3 looking like?
If I'm the defensive coordinator on Saturday, there's absolutely no question we're going to Ephesians, Prysock, Clark, and Dylan Robinson.
Okay. Izzo, same question to you, and then give me your opinions on the defense.
Yeah, I 100% agree with what Noah just said. I think if you're heading into Ohio State, this is no shot at Leroy Bryant because I think he's better than this. And I think he was playing a little bit tentatively, like a little bit nervous. And you could see it on some coverage snaps where he didn't want to get beat deep and and have that highlight play over the top of him, which I totally understand, but they weren't going that route. It was very obvious the entire game plan for Wazoo, and this is why Durfee has 11 pressures and no sacks. Again, that type of game is because they're going to get the ball out immediately. It's going to be 1 or 2 reads. It's going to be the Colorado State thing. There was no secret about that heading into this game. And so in that circumstance, you don't need to be tentative and be worried about the deep ball so much. And I thought that that's why they were able to get after him a little bit, was on these short passes. And on the flip side of it, that being their offensive game plan, they're able to target him, and that's why they scored a lot of these points and set up a lot of these drives, is because he would give up what was underneath, and then they would get a Meredith in space, and he would get a 15-20 yard gain or whatever it was. So heading into Ohio State against these two receivers, these three receivers, really, with if you include Ennis, you can't have that. You got to play with swagger, got to play with confidence, and that is Dylan Robinson, in my opinion. After this game, when he had that tackle in the first quarter, and he stood up over the guy and he threw his whole body at him, and it didn't just like blow him out of the water, but it was an impactful hit, and you saw him stand up and play with that swagger that Jay Rich is looking for. So it would surprise me if he's starting at corner. I would agree with Noah. I think it's Dylan Robinson.
Izzo, real quick. So Jed came out today and he said that Bryant, Robinson, and Clark are going to all compete for reps at that outside position.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a way that you might just see Bryant move back inside and you see the other guys get more reps at that outside?
Yeah, he's not going to be like never seen again type of thing. Yeah, he'll still take the field. He still showed it in practice, like Jed Fish said. He had some really phenomenal days, especially when Rashawn went down. So I think you'll see a rotation of all three where Leroy kind of spells everybody. And I think he's like your backup guy at every spot across the front for the most part. But you're going to see Rashawn. I would suspect you're going to play your most physical defense, which looks so far like Rashawn Clark, Dylan Robinson, and Ephesians on the other side if Takario is not going to go.
Let's talk about the rest of the defense. What were your thoughts and feelings?
Yeah, so for me, like I said, Zevi Eckhouse should have been their starting quarterback from the jump. They looked way better just in terms of Wazoo's whole approach. Like I said, we knew what they were going to be doing. 1 read, 2 read, that's it. Get the ball out immediately, just like every other team has done. It makes sense logically that you would try to approach the game as a lesser talented team going into this game like that. And you know that we're going to come with a bunch of different rotations and bring a bunch of different guys in who all have fresh legs. So that makes sense. I thought we played well and got pressure on Zevi. If you look at the big picture, we're always going to focus in on where we can get better, as we should as a fan base and as we should as our team, as a staff as well. But I thought all in all, you can't walk away from this game and be like, man, I really want to recreate everything. I have a bunch of stuff that we need to change. You did what you could, given the fact that Takario Davis is hurt. Buddha Alukta gets hurt as well. I thought guys stepped up in that situation. Lane is another one of these unsung heroes that we're talking about, where again, he grades out phenomenally across the board and pass pro. Like, you can just kind of ask him to do whatever he wants. He makes the team around him look better. And I want to call that out. Dylan Robinson, it's like we said, you can see it. You can see why we're talking about him as like a top 10 pick down the road. Like, he looks like a junior or senior playing out there. Loved what I saw from him. And I mean, outside, like I'm talking about like physically and what he brings to the game. You see some little mistakes here and there, but nothing you can't clean up. He's a smart player. Devin Bryant, I thought, had a decent game. One thing that I will say down the stretch that I have some concerns about is just, I'll give you an example. We're about to play Ohio State. Ohio State in the middle has a 6'5", 245-pound linebacker and a 6'4", 245-pound linebacker. And I'm not knocking Devin Bryant on things that he can't control. He's 5'11", 230 to 240 pounds or what have you. But there's some times where you're like, okay, there's a little bit of a liability in pass coverage here. However, the pick that Alex McLaughlin got, the first pick, was a tip from Devin Bryant. That doesn't happen without him there. But I want to see if teams decide to target that. And I hope that the large, big defensive linemen that we have can mitigate pass lanes by getting their hands up. We didn't have any batted balls in this game, which is, I don't know if it's scheme or they're just thrown away from the middle of that line or what's going on, but I would like to see this defensive line more so, I think, than getting sacks in a game where they're getting the ball out immediately. I want to see us disrupting passing lanes and leveraging the Deshaun Lynches and the Bryce Butlers to get big mitts up. That being said, man, I don't know about you guys, but Wazoo stepped up in this game and they brought their A game on offense. And all things considered, if this is bend don't break, if you view it through that lens, you did not break, and you created opportunities for your offense by getting turnovers in multiple positions.
I got a question for you. Then you mentioned about you being worried that they're going to target Devin Bryant. Did you mean just in the run game, or do you mean also in the pass game? Because I noticed
specifically the pass, less so the run.
The first touchdown that Wazoo scored, Devin Bryant's eyes were in the backfield, and he was responsible for that tight end that scored.
Exactly right. Yeah, that's not the play that I'm thinking of. It's actually, weirdly enough, I think when I watched the game where that became a concern was that play, but it's also just watching the middle of the field operate and just seeing how for a kid who's 6'3", he might get that pick without it going to McLaughlin. Do you know what I mean? Where it's not a tip. He just comes down with it immediately.
Catches it. Yeah.
I'm less worried about Bryant missing assignments, but I think that play probably caused me to watch him and key in on him a little bit more as I'm analyzing stuff. So It's a good call out, but yeah, he did miss that first touchdown. Was pretty much all on him.
All right, I got another question now, and then either one of you guys can answer this. This is about the linebackers as well. Buddha being out hurts a lot. We are not very deep in that room, and after the 3 or 4 guys we got at the top, it's all freshmen and super young guys. If Buddha can't go, what does the linebacker room look moving forward, especially with Ohio State coming into town?
Yeah, you're going to go to Jacob Manu. I mean, he looked like he was chomping at the bit. And sorry, hopefully I didn't jump on your steez here, Noah, but I think that's probably your answer as well, right?
I was going to say Kyler Manu, but Jacob Manu. But I'm just kidding. No, Jacob. No, yeah, Jacob Manu, man. That's I think ideally we'd like to keep him for 4 games, but
he might gotta go.
This might be ready to go right now.
Do you guys see any of the young guys like Epperson or them getting any sort of run?
I think if you got one, if you have to go to one, you go to Epperson and you don't rush ZRS out there. But ideally you don't play either one, And I think you got to go with Manu and hope for health. He's chomping at the bit. He's been chomping at the bit through camp. He looked like he was ready to go, but you're kind of just holding out.
I totally agree with that. He looked ready to go in that when he was doing some warm-ups on the the last fall scrimmage. He looked like he was, and he looks the part too. So
yeah, he's ferocious. So he's very similar to Buddha, in terms of size and what he brings to the table.
Yeah, and I've heard a few places that Buddha's a little bit better in pass coverage, and Man was a little bit better at in the run stuffing game. So, all right, do you guys have anything else you guys want to go into about the defense, or are you ready to?
Let's get after this game, dude. I don't know, Noah, if you've got anything else. I'm so ready to talk about this game, man.
Nah, man, it's good. This is a in my household, man, I married a Coug, so I got a full, I got a full year of bragging rights. So
I love it. All right, before we get into the next thing, make sure you guys go like, subscribe, comment. It's very important to get us up in that algorithm. Also, go hit the link down below to join the Discord. We'll get more into that later. Now, what we've all been waiting for. We got a heavyweight matchup on Montlake this week, and it's number 1 Ohio State coming into town, and they're bringing all the gusto. We feel like we've been left out of the limelight. It's time to take back what's ours. All right, guys, what do we need to do? How do we see this game playing out? Which one do you guys want to take this one first? Because I know you guys are both kind of chomping at the bit.
I want to kick this game off really quick, though, man. I mean, dude, this is judgment week, man. This is like pre-midterms for college football, man. I mean, you got UW, Ohio State, you got Oregon, Penn State, you got Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, LSU. I mean, this is a juggernaut of a college football weekend. Dude, number 1 team in the country is coming onto Montlake. 12:30 CBS. The weather is going to be perfect, mid-60s, upper mid-60s, whatever it is at kickoff. The Husky Stadium's a fortress right now. We got 21 straight wins, man, dating back to 2021. This look ahead line early in the season was 13 and a half. We opened back up right around 9.5, and it currently sits right around 8.5. So there's a lot of money coming in on the dogs. UW's only hosted since 2000 a number one seed twice, USC both times. But you know what game this reminds me a lot of? It reminds me a lot of the 2000 matchup against the number 4 Miami Hurricanes, man. When they had a freshman come in, Ken Dorsey, first true road test. The number 4 Hurricanes come all the way up to Montlake.
Had all the Ken Dorsey.
Man, they had all the talent in the world. Andre Johnson, a young Andre Johnson, Reggie Wayne, Clinton Portis. I mean, dude, they had NFL future draft picks all over both sides of the ball. Man, but that ruckus crowd environment was just too much for Dorsey and the Hurricanes. And I think that's what you're going to see on Saturday, dude, in Montlake, man. This place is going to be electric. And I really believe, guys, this is kind of my kickoff, but as we get into this, but Julian Sand, you're going to have to create an environment where we win the turnover battle, and he's going to be the one that's going to have to give it up to us, because we're going to have to create an environment that is absolutely living hell for him. That if you want a shot in this game, you have to make him uncomfortable. You have to put him on his backside. You have to make him throw off his back foot. You have to create turnovers to win this game.
All right. Hey, Izzo, I can see your head's ready to pop, bro. Tell me how you're feeling about this matchup.
Winning this game makes me forget about Kalen DeBoer. Makes me forget about the what he did just entirely. I know we've moved on as a fan base, right? We're on to bigger and better things the best we can. But if you take this game, you're not going to hear any chatter about what happened. And so this is huge. It's hard to downplay it. The opportunity that lies in front of you. Luckily, this is a game that nobody is expecting you guys to win. Nobody put you, not a single vote in the top 25. No one thinks you got this. So what are you going to do? Like who steps up? Who takes that dog mentality that's being preached at the highest level and takes that to the next level, where if we get a stop on drive 1 from them, that we start barking. And it's not just show. It's not just here's this team that's subpar, that is really excited to be in this game, and they're forcing this mantra of being a dog on defense. I want to see it. I want it to be true. I want to see somebody lay hat on someone and then get up and start barking. No, on a big third down, something like that. That being said, what I really want to have happen schematically at the beginning of this game is for us to get up early. If we win the toss, take the kit or take the receiving end of the coin flip or whatever you're going to receive, and I want to see us go up 7-0. And I want to see a redshirt freshman who's never played a game on the road in big time college football deal with arguably the loudest team, the loudest stadium in the country, and put that pressure on them. Put it on them. Not us to score with them, not us to deal with what has got to be the best defense in college football. I would think that's what I want to see from this game. And I'm so freaking excited. And I've got that nervous tension where my palms get sweaty just talking about this game. But pick your poison, man, on these 2 receivers that they've got. We know what they are. There's no secret. We're bringing out a true freshman to play in this game. We've got Ephesians on one side. That's solid. But you have 2 guys who are going in the first round. But what you can do, and we've seen it from the tape from them, is if you put pressure on this quarterback and we're screaming at him from the stands, things can go south for that offense quick. And if you can jump on them early and have Julian Sand playing from behind, that is the path. Pressure this offensive line, confuse them, throw the book at them, whatever you've been holding back on schematically on defense, and confuse this offensive line. And get after Julian Sand and bark and be loud and carry that swagger. That's what I got to say as we kick this thing off. You've been disrespected, man. Straight up.
Well,
what are you going to do about it?
You know what the truth of the matter is too? For us, it's so much, there's so much on the line here. But if you really look at it from a national perspective, if Ohio State doesn't come in here and beat us by at least 17 points, people are going to be looking at us differently. They're going to be like, oh, wow, that UW team gave Ohio State a run for their money. Or if we beat them, oh, my God, it'll shoot us up the rankings. If Ohio State doesn't, then all of a sudden they're starting to look soft against people that the national media considers inferior. They have a lot of pressure to come in here and play well. And that's the perfect kind of environment for something to get turned on its head.
It's going to be so loud.
It's going to be crazy.
We're going to press that UW record. And UW, I know they've already done it, but the PR guys, the stadium guys, get that meter going. Let's try to top it.
All right, so let's take a deep dive into the game. And we're going to start with Ohio State's offense versus UW's defense. Izzo, let's have you kick this one off since Noah kicked the last one off.
And I'll tee this up for you, Noah, because I'm going to go through the players like I did last week because I think people found that valuable. 6'3", Jeremiah Smith, 223 pounds. He's got 3 touchdowns on the year on 20 catches, 315 yards. Carnell Tate, 6'3", 195, 12 catches, 219 yards, 3 touchdowns. So 3 touchdowns apiece. They haven't necessarily stuffed the stat sheets, but that's not because of their ability, frankly. It's because of the quarterback's ability and the fact that they played Texas week 1. I expect that this has some to do with misdirection. I do think that they have held back some of this playbook, and I do know that they are coming off of a bye, which Noah has correctly called out as a factor for this game for weeks. That is unfortunate that they are coming off of bye into this game because they've had 2 weeks to scheme for us. They have a 3-headed monster at running back between CJ Donaldson. He's 6'2", 232 pounds. He started week 1. And then they shifted to James Peoples, who's 5'10", 205 pounds. He was the starter. And then they were spelling Bo Jackson. And I think, Noah, and you can, this would be a good way to kind of break things up a little bit. Would you agree that Bo Jackson is probably their starter heading into this game?
Yeah, everything I've heard, talked to a couple of buddies that are Ohio State guys too. I mean, from that program, it sounds like Bo Jackson's taking that lead role. I just think his home run hitting ability is exactly what they're looking for, and I mean they expect this kid, this true freshman. They think he is the next, Big Ten showstopper.
He is.
He looks like, I'll tell you what, when he runs, he reminded me of Saquon Barkley. I'll be completely honest.
Yeah, he is that caliber in terms of where he's headed towards. The interesting kind of piece with that is that in terms of grades, CJ Donaldson, James Peoples have been terrible pass blocking, and that is what you're going to have in this game. And Bo Jackson stepped up and been a solid pass blocker for them in his attempts.
If you can't pass block versus historically versus Ryan Walters defense, you're in for a long day. And that's how Illinois used to get up in people, man. When Ryan Walters was there, is they would bring it. And if your running backs can come up and fill that gap, dude, it's tough sledding.
Yeah. So I would agree with Noah's take there. And from what he's heard, would probably see Bo Jackson as the starter. Now, in terms of the rest of this offense, you've got Julian saying he's got 8 touchdowns on the year. He's thrown 3 picks. He's got a 79% completion percentage. What does that tell you guys in terms of what they do on offense?
Throws the ball under. Check
again.
downs.
Would agree. This is the 4th team in a row that what we should expect is probably a 1-2 read, get the ball out quick. Now, are they afraid to get him outside of the pocket? No. This is the thing that I think that Ohio State has played coy with, that I expect them to do more with. And Mike called out to me before we got started on this recording that Julian's saying when he gets outside of the pocket last week, he had like a wide open running back that he missed.
Yep.
So he's been inaccurate in some of those situations. Again, that's pressure as a freshman, but I think what you can bank on with a kid that is that highly touted is, especially in high school, they're used to running around behind offensive linemen who aren't blocking and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that's the case with Sand, because I'm assuming he played with some good offensive linemen, but he's probably a little bit more comfortable in that situation. It's going to be loud. It's going to be different. He's not going to be perfect, but I do expect some play action, bouncing him outside, extending some plays, but most certainly you're going to see the majority of it not just be all play action. You're going to see 1-2 reads, get the ball out quick. Now, in terms of their offensive line, Phillip Daniels is junior, 6'5", 315 pounds, transferred to Ohio State in December of last year. He came from Minnesota. He's been solid, but he's not been incredible in both the pass and the run. He's been okay. Austin Saraveld, 6'5". I mean, the size on these guys is just so Ohio State. 6'5". This is their other tackle. 6'5", 325-pound junior. He's played both guard and tackle. Played all year for them last year. On their way to the Natty. He's very experienced, but he struggled against Texas. Now, is our defensive line Texas's defensive line? Probably not, right? Since then, he's been
probably not.
Probably not. He's been nails since that game. Probably not somebody you're going to scheme to go after and target in terms of like things you're going to go after against this offensive line, but he's not looked unbeatable on tape, but he's good. He's solid. You're not going to target that dude. Offensive guard, they've played 3. The main dude that they've played pretty much every snap is Luke Montgomery, number 51. He's 6'2", 315 pounds. He's a junior. He's seen the field quite a bit. He's been solid. He's not crazy special in their first 3 games. Against Ohio and Texas, he graded in the 50s and the 60s on both run blocking and pass blocking. He might be somebody you get after. You try to run some stunts, and I'll let Noah talk about that type of scheme and things like that will throw out their O-line. But he might be somebody to go after on the interior. Ethan Enenwa, he's a senior, transferred in from Rice, did terribly against Texas, but has been lights out since. 6'7", 331-pound senior offensive guard. This guy, to me, I know he's a senior, but I wonder if he projects out as a tackle at the next level. He's just huge. And then the other guy, also huge, frankly, Tegra Shabola, I believe is how his last name pronounced. 6'6", 322 pounds, senior. He's a top 150 player in the country coming out of high school. He hasn't played a ton before this year in terms of like meaningful snaps, but he's huge also. You want to get after him with speed. He doesn't really move very well. He struggled against Texas. He graded out okay against Ohio, but he might be another guy that you try to get after when you see him in. And then Enenwa, he's been solid. So they wrote, I don't know if it was on purpose or if it's by injury or necessity that they've kind of rotated Dabola and Enenwa. But those are maybe some guys that you target. It's really their offensive guards that you might have a shot against because their center is their anchor. 6'5", 300-pound Carson Hintzman. He's played a ton for them. Stud in the middle. He came in a lot for them the last 2 years because of injuries. They've dealt with a ton on the interior, but he's in year 4 with them. Super reliable anchor up front, probably an NFL center. Played well against Texas, and he's been nails in pretty much every game that they've played. So that's my kind of my preview for the main guys that they're going to play on offense minus the tight end.
Okay.
One thing I've noticed real quick is with Shabola and the other offensive guards, Montgomery, is they like to pull those guys in pass pro. If you've noticed that, it almost looks like they're starting out, a run play, but then they pull them into a pass pro, maybe on like a play action or whatever it may be. It's just interesting because guys with that size, you think you would just traditionally create a pocket, kind of let Julian Sand just sit back there. But I think they're actually trying to get a little bit creative on how they actually block, especially when it comes to pass pro, because of those reasons that they're seeing maybe one-on-one blocks are struggling a little bit. So they're trying to just move that line, move the pocket a little bit, give Sand a little bit extra time. Because I think they were getting eaten up front, especially in the Texas game. You really saw that.
I noticed we did the same thing with Pocky and John Mills a couple times where we pulled them in pass protection to go literally take whoever the edge was on Azzopardi's side. My biggest concern is how is this UW defense going to stand up to the run? I was online and I was having a conversation with the Ohio State fan, and I told them if I was Ohio State, I would give him the ball 34 times and say, hey, let's see if UW can stop him, because since Jed Fish has been here, that's been our Achilles heel. And we need, until we prove that we're not that against a Power 5 team, we don't want to see what happened against Iowa or Indiana or even Rutgers last year, where they were just able to run up the soft middle of our defense.
Yeah.
The interesting thing on that too, Mike, is if I was going against our defense, that's what I would do. I would just run the ball and keep running the ball and keep running the ball. Here's the interesting thing that Ohio State's doing this year. Here's a little media piece. They're actually putting a campaign together for Jeremiah Smith. They want him to have an opportunity for the Heisman campaign. So I think you're going to see him get force fed some balls that historically I think that even in game flow, they're like, oh, we can run the ball down your throat. We can run the ball down your throat. Dude, they're going to want to pump that thing over the top to make sure he gets an opportunity for a Heisman. I really believe that. So don't think for a minute, even though if they are dominating that ball up front, they're still going to want to get the ball in number 4's hands for sure.
So if you know what they're going to do, it sounds like we're in consensus in terms of what you would do against us. And I think this staff at Ohio State's familiar with Ryan Walters, and that's probably what they're going to try to do is run it down our throat and then set up shots to Jeremiah Smith or Carnell Tate. Frankly, if I'm UW, I think what I would try to do against that is go shell high on Jeremiah Smith to whatever side he's on and take an Esteem type or somebody who or you're feeling confident can go get you an interception when you know the pass is coming.
Our post safety.
Right. And I would think probably right now that's Mikel Esteem. I would think.
Yeah.
So that's your strategy there. And then load the box, right? Load the box and throw different, is that what you would do? Like you're trying to get that they're going to throw the ball out quick or try to get the ball out quick. And that the threat is the run. And we haven't really seen that yet. And our defense calls for 3 safeties. So what's your kind of your thought on that? Like, do you commit? Do you wait to see what they do on drive 1? Or do you go, no, let's bring 7 up, up near the line of scrimmage? Like, let's bring 8 up near the line of scrimmage and commit to it and see, and then go shell high over Jeremiah and try to get them to beat us with Carnell Tate and whatever tight end they're bringing out there.
I mean, historically, if you're going to bracket a wide receiver, it's hard to bracket a wide receiver and then also say like, oh, we're going to load the box too.
Exactly.
Because the issue with that, right, is then you have your cornerback. Those other 2 cornerbacks are on an island, right? So you got 7 in the box, you got bracketed, and then you got your other.
Well, I'm saying like shell one your coverage safety over the top of Jeremiah. I'm assuming a two wide receiver set, and then stack the box.
Got it.
And then try to let them beat you with Carnell Tate versus Ephesians Prysock or Dylan Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. I look at this game in a very the only pathway to victory for me is how do you create confusion up front and collapse the pocket to Julian Sand. That's the only way I think you win this game. So how do you do that? You have to be able to get in his face. You have to be able to shut him down. And I totally understand that they have all these other pieces, but whatever you have to do to get him uncomfortable, get him playing tight, get that pucker factor, get that first true road test for that freshman. I mean, I don't know exactly how to do it, but if I was the defensive coordinator, if I was Ryan Walters, I'm bringing multiple pressures, multiple looks from multiple different angles.
And it doesn't
I'm talking all day.
And it doesn't necessarily. Actually, this kind of brings me to a point to back you up here is that you don't necessarily bring 7 every time. You show 7, bring 5. Yep. You show 8, bring 4. Yep. Or you show 4 and you bring 5 or whatever, or whatever that combination is. So you don't just commit to one scheme and go show 7 every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Well, one of the big things they like
maybe
to
that's
do,
obvious,
especially when they slide into this, like, hey, we're in our power running game, they like to bring in 3 tight ends and do this. It's one of the things you noticed against when they started really leaning on Ohio towards the end of the 3rd quarter and early 4th quarter last week or the week before. That was one of their moves. And that's one of the things where, like, if they're doing that, how do we combat that? Because now, even if we put 8 guys in the box, they have 8 guys blocking. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
And the thing is with Kazmarek, Thurman, and Claire, dude, they can all catch the rock too. Dude, Max Claire, they haven't used him that much, but he's a transfer, I think, from Purdue. Dude, he is an elite pass catcher. And you could see in a game like this where you talk about Devin Bryant. Dude, they can start leaking him out, man. 3, 4, 5 catches, 12 yards a clip, man. Drive after drive, extends it. I mean, it's tough. The other thing, really quick, Mike, that I wanted to make sure to point out is, dude, here's a name you guys are gonna remember. But dude, Julian Sand, man, he hasn't really been extremely crisp in the red zone. Could we see the old UW commit Lincoln Kineholz get some red zone opportunities?
He got a few snaps against Ohio.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
maybe.
he's got that dual threat ability, and this is a game, man, where if you get into I don't want to call this a shootout because I don't think this game's going to be a shootout, but if you get into some certain opportunities where you need to score, man, I don't think field goals on either side of the ball, especially on UW, but field goals aren't going to win this game.
No.
So what are you going to do, when you get in the red zone? Who's going to be the most efficient in the red zone? I think this is kind of what I think that they'll have to do is maybe bring Lincoln Kine-Olsen to kind of spell some.
I'll tell you what, though, if they have to do that, that's going to piss Ryan Day off. Like if they have to go to their backup quarterback to convert in the red zone against UW, like that would be.
Yeah,
that
wouldn't be good. Ohio State
once,
people would be pissed.
Maybe
look on that
once.
box score. Look on that box score right there above you. I mean, they kicked 1, 2, 3. They kicked 3 field goals, in the first 3 quarters of that game. So they got in the red zone multiple times. Look at because they scored 3 points in the first, then 10
Maybe
and
he's
10.
already pissed.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see some opportunities for Kine-Holz, man, because I think they're frustrated with just how crisp Sayan's been in the red zone.
Yeah, that's a real. Actually, I'm glad you called that out. No, kudos on bringing that up because that'll be really interesting to watch. Like, do they have to get frustrated first to try to bring that layer in? However, on the flip side of that, them not needing to get pissed to bring that layer in, they've had 2 weeks to prepare. Have they been preparing Lincoln Kine-Holz to bring some trickery into this game to score and convert early and easily? Maybe. Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
Really
if we end up putting them in a position where we're in a shootout, that means our offense is working. That means that we're able to move the ball and we're scoring. If we get into that game, they're in trouble. If we can find a way to get them into a game where we're in a shootout, I like Damon Williams and our offense throwing the ball a lot more than I like Ohio State and their offense throwing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel after watching 3 games and watching the film on all the teams.
That brings up an interesting question for you too. Whose offense would you rather have?
Talent all over. Are you saying
No, you just have to choose. No disclaimers.
I'll take Ohio State's.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I think they're just. I hate saying this. I just think they're more complete, man.
I like him because of their offensive line, and I love that running back, Bo Jackson. I think he is a really, really good running back.
You're talking about the team that, like, if all things considered, a lot of Husky fans are saying, and I'm not talking about like just Husky fans, but like a lot of somewhat naysaying Husky fans too, who are skeptical, are saying is the best wide receiver, running back, quarterback combination in college football. And you guys would trade them.
It's not them, it's the offensive lines.
Okay.
That's for me, that it's the offensive lines. I like what our offensive line has done so far. But they also, especially in pass protection, there's been holes where I'm like, if this was a different team, we would be in a different scenario. When you're playing the 3 teams that we played, we didn't play any elite defensive linemen the last 3 weeks. Not one. We're playing guys that are potential first round picks, and we don't know. We know what our offensive line did last year, and it was not up to par. Ohio State has
played Texas and scored twice.
They did. They only scored twice.
UW score more than twice in that game.
Dude, I will say this is and that's actually a really interesting question.
That is a great question. Yeah, it's really. I'm like, damn. I'm kind of racking my brain because to be honest with you, I like Denzel Boston more than any other receiver in the country right now. He has wide receiver 1 vibes, and it's written all over him right now. And Jonah Coleman's playing out of his mind, and I think Damon Williams.
I'm not taking any running back over Jonah.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling too. It's literally the offensive line. Over Demond. It's literally
I think Jonah Coleman's the best running back in the Big Ten. I truly do. I think the way the Demons playing, he might be the best quarterback. The only thing I'll say is this: I think that Denzel Boston is truly playing and will end up being a top 30 pick right in that window. The thing with Jeremiah Smith for me, I actually think Denzel Boston, to be very fair, is better than Carnell Tate.
I would agree with
100%.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Jeremiah Smith, though, is Andre Johnson. I think he's a Randy Moss.
I
I think
agree.
he's Jerry Rice. I mean, Calvin Johnson. I mean, I think he is going to be, he's going to be a generational type wide receiver.
I agree.
And I think for him, if he could go to the NFL this year, he's a sophomore. He can't. But if he could go this year, he's top 3 pick in the draft.
Agree. I think I'm still taking UW's offense, though. Damon Williams mitigates your offensive line's impact on a game so much so that at the end of the year, once 12 games are passed, if you would select one of the 2 offenses you would want, you will select Washington will outperform Ohio State by the end of the year.
So now let's get into talking about this Ohio State defense versus our offense. It's going to be what decides the difference in this game. Izzo, how do you see this playing out?
I'm excited and scared at the same time to talk about this defense because this matchup is our offense versus their defense. This defense, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, man. For Husky fans, it's really good. Okay. I'm going to start with their secondary. The 2 safeties that they have are obviously, one is Caleb Downs, but the McLean kid, elite, super good. I guess you could call him their free safety. He's their free safety. Him and Caleb both kind of do both, and that is by design. They have the unique ability to have 2 guys who are disciplined enough and both surefire NFL capable guys that they can disguise stuff really well. So they bring one up in the box. You don't know what he's doing. You bring another guy up in the box. They're both super comfortable up front and in the back. So they have like this near identical blend of bringing one up in the front 7, like near the line of scrimmage. It's really unique and are obviously effective. Quarterbacks. I'm going to try to pronounce his name. Benson. He's been solid. 6'2", 195 pounds. He had a little bit of a rough game against Ohio, but he's solid. He's someone that can attack in the run game, has super high grades, sure tackler. He brings that element, but I think he's gettable in coverage sometimes. He's not perfect. Jermaine Matthews, 5'11", 190. He's like your surefire guy, even though he's a little bit more undersized. You see why they play him on a regular basis. Very strong in coverage. Not a lot of weak spots in his game. They can stick him on somebody and trust that they don't have to worry about that kid. It's so far this year up to this point. This is the piece that I don't know. A lot of their defense scares me, but their linebackers, Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles.
They big boys.
Reese is 6'4", 243 pounds. Sonny Styles is 6'5", 243 pounds. Pick your poison. They bring in another kid named Peyton Pierce. He rotates in. He's been lights out as well. He's more of your prototypical 6'2", 225 pound guy. But there's just not a whole lot of things to say about them. They don't really do anything poorly. Like they're extremely sure tacklers, good against the pass, good against the run, leaders of the defense, like just studs. Okay.
Yeah. And they're going to use Arvell Reese to shadow Damon Williams. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah. So like the other thing too is I saw somebody on Twitter go, hey, well, this is a big game for the tight ends for us. Well, I mean, these 2 linebackers can guard just about any tight end that I've seen to this point. So we'll see if that is the wrinkle we decide to go to. Maybe you just have to out scheme this team, frankly, to get your tight ends open, and maybe you do that just to mix things up. I know we probably have held back some of the scheme up to this point, and maybe that's a route you go, but it's not a thing I expect to be a deciding factor for why UW scores 35 points in this game is targeting the tight end against these linebackers. They're very freaking good. And then you have the defensive line, which unfortunately is like 10 guys deep and studs all around. I mean, it's probably more than 10 guys deep in terms of dudes who are going to be in the NFL. There's probably literally like 12 guys on this defensive line that at some point are going to play in the NFL. Yeah. Will Smith Jr., 6'4", 292 pounds. Yikes. No weakness in his game that I can see on film, frankly. Caden McDonald, 6'3", 326 pounds. They were able to keep him in check in the Ohio game, I think a little bit, but not much against the run. This is your prototypical nose interior offense or defensive lineman. He's going to stop the run. And then Caden Curry, great technique. He's fast, strong, all the above. Not a whole lot of weaknesses there. He's got, I think, just 2 sacks on the year, but don't be jaded by that. He will wreck you. And then they rotate guys in like CJ Hicks, who's another stud, Kenyatta Jackson Jr., Bo Atkinson, Tywone Malone Jr. All of these guys are studs. You're not going to get any breaks up front. It's just that simple. Like you're just going to have to be playing your best game up front by far. Damon's going to be on the run, unavoidable. So scheme for it, get ready for it.
Switzer in that offensive line room got their work cut out for them.
100%.
Really,
there's no way to sugarcoat it. It's literally like 12 dudes who all can play.
Okay. So then the big question then is, how are we going to attack these guys? What are we going to do to show the country how good this offense is? Because you just rattled off a whole bunch of guys that are going to be playing on Sunday. That's not going to be an easy task.
Yeah, pretty much everybody I named.
Yeah, man. I mean, when I look at this, I mean, I think Ohio State's going to really try to load the box, and I think they're going to try to shut down Jonah and Damon on the ground. But I actually think that's maybe where UW will try to make its hay versus team. Dude, the Demon, man. Dude, his dual threat ability to stretch this defense. I know these guys are all big time players, all 5 stars, 4 stars. But dude, they have not seen a running QB like this in Ryan Day's time in college football, man. Even Matt Patricia, man, the new defensive coordinator, called him Kyler Murray-esque. If I'm UW, man, if I'm wearing the hat for a day, a lot of pre-snap movement, create as much confusion as front. With this being, Patricia's first year, all these guys, do they fully understand, his philo, his philosophies, his tendencies? And the thing is, it's not like these guys have been perfect. They gave up 166 on the ground at Texas. They gave up close to 100 to Grambling on the ground, and they shut down Ohio, only had 70 on the ground. But they saw some semi runners in Arch Manning and this Parker Navarro kid from Ohio, but neither, man, are close to Damon Williams. And even when the defense can do everything, dude, everything right, man, right? So you get your guys, they're all in the right positions. They're all, hey, I got my guy. You got, it's like playing, a perfect zone defense in basketball. It's like, we're all in perfect position. Even then, Damon can make you look wrong. I think we're gonna need a big game out of our tight ends, man. We might need to put an APB out on Decker DeGraff and Q Moore in the passing game. We're gonna need him in this game. Is this the game where it breaks out? I mean, I think this is where you got to see it. I mean, because I think you're gonna get Denzel Boston. He's gonna have a game. But we need all hands on decks. I need to see some rollouts from Damon, some bootlegs to extend drives. But I really think you might even need to incorporate some of these tight ends into some screen games, because I think you're seeing us be able to do it coming out of the backfield with Jonah, with Muhammad. But I think you might even need to see this with our tight ends. You're gonna need all hands on deck to beat this defense.
So you and I differ on that then, which I think I can see. Here's what I'll just say. I'll caveat this. Like, do I think it's unimportant that our tight ends have a good game? No, I think it is important. But do I want the difference between us winning in this game to be dictated by whether or not our tight ends are getting schemed open on a regular basis versus 2 guys who, one is 6'4", one is 6'5", and they're all world athletes? I don't want us to have that be the next level piece. But that being said, I see where you're coming from the standpoint of what you're getting from the other pieces, and you can't just rely upon that going forward in this game. You need some other X factor. And you're saying basically you have to look to the tight end to have that happen, to extend a drive on a 3rd and 4, on a 3rd and 5. I can kind of see what you're talking about.
So we talked about them getting a full extra week to prepare. Yeah. So they have 2 weeks. So if I'm Patricia and I'm looking at this University of Washington offense, I'm going, Damon Williams, like I'm saying, I mean, we have everything lined up. We're in perfect position, but with speed like that, he can make us look really bad. So how do you stop that? I think they have to spy Damon Williams. And what I'm saying is, if
they're 100% going to, that's literally what they did against every single mobile quarterback they've seen all year.
And so if you're going to spy him, that has to leave somewhere on the field open. And historically, when you when you spy a quarterback, it usually leaves that middle of the field and those seams wide open because usually when they're dropping into pass coverage with that, you only have a certain amount of guys, right? Those should be wide open. You should be able to get your 12-yard hooks right in the flat there. You should be able to go run a seam route and have those open. Now, I get it that their linebackers are 6'4", 6'5", and you can cover a lot of ground with height like that. But I'm trying to find ways where if you're going to spy, we got to be able to expose you somewhere. And where I think you can expose it is with your slot wide receivers and your tight ends.
That's what I think. I think it's going to be your slot receivers in that situation, just because I don't think that they're going to look for him at all. And I think that they pose the biggest speed versus size matchup so it's tit for tat. It's like, do you think it's the tight end or your slot receivers? I totally agree, especially knowing that Matt Patricia is coming from that Bill Belichick tree, like you're talking about, where they key in on who are your best players. Let's shut them down. Focus the defense there. Let them have them beat us with Raiden Vinesbright, with that type of thing. So I see where you're coming from there.
You know what? When you were talking about scheme, Noah, I think you're actually right on for what they need to do. When you're in a hostile environment like UW, what is the first thing that usually goes, especially to young players, but players in general? What do you see usually? What do teams falter to? For me, it's normally discipline. Discipline is the first thing that falls. Yep. When I brought up the Jonah Coleman, Jordan Washington thing earlier, I think misdirection, I think screen passes, I think things where if guys are not being disciplined in their lanes, disciplined in containment, those are the things that you'll be able to take advantage of when they get into a really, really loud stadium. You're going to get guys who are out of position, who are crashing the edges because they want to make a play and blow it up quick. And I think if you can scheme in misdirection in all those different ways and play wide, expand the whole field and get them looking one way, get their eyes caught in the backfield and throw it over the head, or make them think that it's going to Jonah and letting Denzel keep it, or maybe not even letting either of them. Maybe Jordan Washington comes around on the sweep and gets the ball when they think it's going to Jonah or Damon. Things
That's
like
how
that.
Ohio got their explosives too, was that misdirection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else you guys have on the defense of Ohio State, or what you guys want to see from Washington's offense?
No, I'll save a call out for mine until our players to watch segment, which is right about now.
All right. Now, if we're going to look at who are the impact players for UW that have to have huge games for us to walk out with a victory? Noah, how about you kick it off?
Yeah, I mean, I got some. I don't have the biggest names in this game because I think you're going to see the biggest names shine week in and week out for UW. I think Decker, DeGraff, and Q Moore both need to have breakout games receiving. We really need them to extend drives. I think you're going to have the tight ends be part of that. You're going to need 5+ catches and a touchdown in this game to have any chance to compete. Ideally, I don't want to have to settle for field goals, but if we do, man, Grady Gross, man, he's going to have to be absolutely nails in this game. And last but not least, Ephesians Price Hawk, man. And you might as well throw Dylan Robinson in there too, man. But listen, everybody talks about Taco, how good he is. Everyone likes to talk about the young Bucks. And Ephesians kind of, he kind of gets lost in the shuffle a little bit. This is a game, national stage, #1 team in the country. Ephesians wants to play at the next level too. Let's have a big time game. Show the country that you can stop some of these elite receivers, across.
He can make a lot of money
for
himself if he plays well.
Yep.
He can make a lot of money for himself being 6'4". All right, Izzo, what do you think?
On the defensive side of the ball, Linneas Davis and Bryce Butler.
Good ones.
In the middle, and you could probably throw in Terrio Thompson in there as well.
Yep.
I think you're going to ask a lot of them. I don't think it's any secret that this is going to be their biggest game. They're going up against NFL caliber offensive linemen, or at least size, and they're going to try to run the ball right at us and set up the deep throws. And so I think if you see those guys step up, that is when you are doing it controls the rest of what they're going to do on offense. If you see those guys step up, if you see us stuffing the run, they're getting big stops. then that's going to set everything else up and create the narratives of the rest of the game for Ohio State's offense versus our defense. On the offensive side of the ball, I'm going to go with Adam Hamid and Raiden Vines-Bright. Because just like Noah said, for the same reasons, pick your poison, whichever one. It doesn't matter to me if it's a tight end stepping up. I just think this would be an awesome game for Raiden Vines-Bright or whoever is that slot, that number 2 guy in this offense going into this game to show out because they're keying in to stop Denzel. And Denzel draws the big coverage, and then you see what nobody knows about is this core group of young freshman wide receivers who can get open, are sure-handed, and can run after they catch the ball. And I think if we want explosives and we want to do what we want to do and score 30 plus on this team, your number 2 receiver has to have a big game, has to have over 125 yards. I think it'll be less impactful for that to happen at the tight end level. However, the 3rd and 4s, the 3rd and 6s, doing those curl routes for the tight end, I think is going to be big as well, especially like what Noah's saying, if you key a spy on Demond, which we all expect them to do. For Adam Hamid, their front 7 is nasty. Best front 7 we've seen quite a long time. And I don't expect it to be a perfect game up front for the whole game. And so I think when you can catch them off guard is when Adam Hamid is in the game on 3rd down and what you would think is a pass blocking, type of situation. And it's a screen or it's a draw and Adam Hamid busts it out because Jonah has gotten a lot of shine, but you're going to have to try to find pieces that don't typically draw the attention of the offense. And I think Adam Hamid is just as fast or faster than Jonah, long speed, and he's a bruiser, man. He's a bruiser. Yep. But I do need to see him step it up with pass pro. But Adam Hamid, you're very capable, dude. You can do it in this game. Like you can be a huge part of this game. So let's do it, baby.
Okay. I agree. I think for me, it's the linebackers. The linebackers have to be able to tackle well. And I think you can extend that into whoever's playing in the box, whether it's the safeties or the corners as well. One of the big things that had Ohio being successful against Ohio State in the first half was sure tackling on the edges and sure tackling in the middle. And I think that's really, really important. So if it's Manu, if it's Alexander, if it's Bryant, those guys have to tackle really, really well. And same thing with McLaughlin, because I think you're going to see him. McLaughlin's going to play up near the line a bunch as the box safety.
Yeah.
The next thing is actually more of a whole team thing that has to happen, and that's mental mistakes. We can't give these guys anything. If we do, those are going to be the things that undo us. So on the offensive line, because I think the offensive line has to play well, water's also wet. But if the stupid mistakes can't happen, and I think if they do that, those are going to be the things that allow us to be able to move the ball and not get stymied by just dumb stuff. And that's kind of what I think the more than impact players, the keys to us getting some successes, being able to be sure tackling at the second level of the defense, and then the whole team not making mental mistakes that cost us like they did last season. Things that we do here on Dubbed Up is we ask you, the audience, what you guys want to hear from us. And we asked that last week, and you guys answered a lot. So let's start off with a couple of these questions. The first one is from Daryl Gunther. How much of the playbook for the O and the D has been shown? Which one do you guys want to take that one?
I'll take D. I'll take D. You take O. Go ahead, Izzo.
Yeah. I think for the offense, last week we were probably preparing for Wazoo and Ohio State. They would be ill-advised to not do that. So I don't know how much, but there's going to be a ton of new stuff that we have not put out there, like a lot. Probably, I don't know, 25, 30%, like a lot of the red zone looks, 25, 30% of the plays that you see will be new concepts. I don't like, I'm just kind of guessing, but it's going to be substantial on the offensive side.
Think about it. We haven't seen any bunch formations. We haven't seen a lot of trips. We haven't. I mean,
play action.
I mean, dude,
I think Izzo's right on. I
Yeah,
think they've
spot
been
on.
saving all that. Yeah.
From a defensive perspective, I think you have seen basic Billy's front seven, dude. I mean, it's been as vanilla as you can get, and it's actually been kind of pissing me off, if you want to know the truth. But I mean, because you saw in the game in Pullman, once we started bringing pressure, what happens? Zevi Ekau started throwing picks. We started getting fumbles. I mean, here's the deal. We ain't good enough to go our front four, rush four, and that's it. That's just the truth. We're not. So we need to bring pressure. And you know what? Ryan Walters is one of the best in the business to bring pressure. So to answer your question, Daryl, 10%, something like that. I mean, we barely ran any stunts. Blitzes have been very minuscule. I mean, the playbook's open. The playbook's ready to go, and it's going to be open up.
The rotations, everything.
Have we seen a NASCAR package yet? I mean,
no, we haven't. You're right. That's a good, and we're talking about like the different formations where they have 3 safeties and 1 linebacker. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of those. All right. L. Stonebrooks. This is more of a comment, I guess, than a question.
I got some juice for this though.
It says playing WSU and Pullman is worthless. Has 0 benefits to the program. Even with a big win, we barely moved up in the rankings.
Yeah, so he's referring to the athletic rankings, which I think we were at 40 and we moved to 39. You know what? It's unfortunate because the tradition is there. The Apple Cup tradition is 115th game, I think, this year, 100 whatever it was. It's true. I mean, playing in Pullman for the University of Washington is a lose-lose situation. You win, you're supposed to win. You lose, catastrophic. And you don't make any money doing it. And in the name of the game in 2025, this is a money game. And do I think this game's always going to be played in Pullman? I really don't. I think it'll be played on Montlake, and I think it'll be played at Seahawks Stadium in the future. Will that be done in 2028? I think the answer is yes, but we'll see in Pullman in a couple of years, and it'll probably be the last time. But
did you say you think the series is going to end in 2028?
I don't know if the series will end, but I don't think the University of Washington will go to Pullman anymore. I don't think I don't think it makes a lot of sense.
So from Beefcake 180,
great
tendencies and differences between Knowles and Patricia. Noah, I see you want to take this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think Knowles was a boom or bust type defensive coordinator, bring the house or drop everyone type. My athletes are just better than yours. That's Knowles. You know, and unfortunately or fortunately for Ohio State, I think he was probably right last year. Our athletes were just better than yours. Mm-hmm. Patricia, he actually reminds me a little bit of Ryan Walters. Show a blitz, then drop, but then bring 2 guys from the opposite side or walk 2 linebackers up in the A gap on the center, and then drop those guys out and bring corner blitz, bring multiple corner blitzes, bring a safety blitz. I think that's kind of the tendencies and differences between Knowles and Patricia that I see when I watch the game film. You'll see that with Patricia on Saturday for sure. They got elite athletes all over the field, but at the end of the day, Patricia's been NFL, college, NFL. Man, I mean, back into college, he's an elite defensive mind. And Ohio State, man, you'll see a bunch of, you know, we talk about how much of the playbook for O&D has been shown. I mean, I don't know if they'll go full boat like we probably need to, but you'll see some stunts and some fun stuff up front that we probably haven't seen on tape this year.
Izzo, you got anything to add?
No, I don't really, outside of just that I know that from that tree with Belichick that they're a core tenet of everything that they do on offense is to find out who the guys who can burn you are and then key in on them. Shut down their number 1 and number 2 option and then let the other guys try to beat you and prioritize that overall.
Okay.
But with Noah,
if they take down 1 and 2, luckily we have number 3. Who's really good too. So, all right, let's move to one of our favorite parts of the show. Prediction time, fellas.
This is what I got, man. I got University of Washington, man. I think this new identity does travel. I think we got the law firm of Boston, Coleman, and Williams, man. But I think it really lives here at home. I mean, this offense has been elite, and I think we really can score with anyone. There's not a better trio in the country than who I just said, when Williams, Boston, and Coleman. And I really don't say that lightly, man. This trio is top tier. The thing that worries me is the other side of the ball and the injuries at key positions that I think going against this team can really hurt us. When we looked at this game early on, I think that was kind of what we said is like at their elite positions on offense, we have elite players on defense with Taco, with Buddha, with those players, looking like they're not going to be available. Taco's still up in the air. I'm just hard pressed to see how we get enough stops in this game. I think the total in this game, Vegas has this line right around 51.5.
Yeah, 52.5.
52.5.
Yeah.
Man, I got this game, Ohio State 34, UW 23.
Ooh, that's a rough one. I know how hard it is for you to pick against UW, but it's even harder for Izzo to pick against UW. So Izzo, what are you thinking?
Izzo's been telling me he's picking against UW, and all of a sudden he throws a twist in there. We win by 10.
Oh, man. I can see Izzo's face getting red.
Yeah. So, I'm kind of deciding this on the spot because, to act like we haven't presented all aspects of this game is disingenuous. And there has been some things that we haven't talked about that we bring onto the podcast and we end up talking about it that kind of is eye-opening. For instance, if we need the tight ends to be the thing that wins us this game, we're not going to win the game. If we want to think this is okay, I'm just going to come out and say it. The reason I'm really having a hard time with this is because Damon Williams is such an X factor. Him as a variable presents such a wide range of outcomes that to predict a game that he is playing in is you really have to weight it unfairly towards University of Washington because you can't put on paper him scampering for a 3rd and 14 that just demoralizes a defense. And then you end up scoring on that drive and it changes the entire game.
Dude, that's a great point, Izzo.
I think it presents something that no matter how good the defensive front that they bring to the table is, that if you even block halfway how you're supposed to and he gets outside the pocket, you're screwed. It doesn't matter. He's way faster than anybody on your defense, minus maybe Caleb Downs. So then you have the crowd factor. What does that do to Julian Sand? There is a clear pathway in which University of Washington wins that game. It's just then it's mitigated by their defensive front. And so it's just hard to choose UW in this game, man, especially with all the injuries. So, man, I really wanted to shock you guys and surprise you guys and be like, I could see us winning this game 31-30. And literally Grady Gross hitting a game-winning field goal and it being insane.
I love that. I love that.
I truly, in my heart of hearts, believe that to be a possibility.
Dude, if that happens, will you shave your head?
Oh, Noah.
I don't know. I'm pretty committed to my hair, dude. You should have
just bro. Happy wife, happy life, bro.
Remember
that.
I don't know if I can do it.
You should have popped right back and said, "If you do it with me."
Oh, we'll have to decide that as we get closer. We'll tweet out whether or not you and I have decided if a game-winning field goal wins this game, whether or not we got to shave our heads.
I'll join the fray if everybody else does.
All right, shit. do we got to do this? All right, we will shave our heads if UW wins, and it has to be by game-winning field goal from Grady Gross. The three of us will shave our heads on camera.
Deal.
Yep.
Okay,
deal.
I'm not bicking it. I'm not bicking it. I'm not.
All got ladies at home that
we're
gonna have to explain this to.
Okay. I mean, honestly, I was for half of this podcast gonna pop that out. However, dealing with the reality of their front seven, they're so good up front, man. Really, truly. It's going to be one of the best we've seen in a really long time. And the fact that Patricia probably has a bunch of stuff in the bag we haven't seen, I'll go 31-21 Ohio State.
Yeah.
But I want smoke. If we win 31-30, I want praise everybody.
I love that. And you can see how hard that was for Izzo. And I feel hard, for you.
Mike, before you go, I want to ask this question. Do you think Patricia called Belichick? asking for some insight into Jed's?
That'd be
probably. I mean, if that's one of your resources, then 100% yes.
Yeah. And the other question I had is this. This is really, and I don't want to sway Mike at all. I just want to say this. This is where things get a little bit dicey in the sense of why at the end of mine I said, I don't know if we can make enough stops. What if it's 17-17? What if it's 21-17 UW's up? Something like that in the third quarter. Don't you think they probably just run the ball at us to just be like, all right, we couldn't be. So that's where I can't get past that thought of them just like choking us out and just being like, okay, well, we'll go 14 plays, shove it right up your, you know what, and 13 of them are going to be runs. And can you stop it? And the last 3 games, man, I don't know if we can. And so that's where I don't have the confidence. Go ahead, Mike.
So that's kind of where I'm going with this. My pick, I'm going to go straight with my pick. My pick is 38-24 Ohio State. And the reason that I pick it like that, because I do see the pathway to us winning, but we have not seen on the offensive and defensive line against elite talent the ability to win the matchups that you need to win to take this game. I want to believe that our defensive line can stop that running game, but even in the first 3 games here, in some of the that play Vargas for UC Davis, that run against us, that the softness that I see on some of these plays up the middle makes me think that if we were playing against a more talented offensive line, our defense wouldn't be able to stop it. So that's one of the issues. And then our offensive line has played phenomenal, but it's been against nobody. Now, I'll tell you what, if they go out there and do it, I'm going to anoint myself in the waters of taking back everything that I said and give everything and apologize to all of you guys. But until I see that, I can't pick against it and be honest.
Let's hope for shaved heads and Mike Flan apologies.
Yep. And listen, anointing boys, myself in those apologies.
If Grady Gross kicks a game-winning field goal, shaving your head will be more than worth it.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Will you clear another table of the drinks that are on in club?
Oh
yeah.
I might. Oh, dude. That Oregon game was glorious, man.
Yeah, it was.
Can we get a repeat? I'm telling you, man, at the end of the day, dude, we've seen this recipe before, boys. Dude, the Miami Hurricanes loaded. You go look at those rosters, man. They look oddly familiar to this Ohio State team, but the similarities are there, man, with the young freshman quarterback, the electric crowd, 12:30 on a Saturday on Montlake. Dude, I'm telling you, we get some turnovers from this Julian Sand kid. We flip this game on the head. You just never know what might happen, baby.
That's why we play the games. That's why we play the games. Excited. Make sure you guys go like, subscribe, leave comments, leave questions. If you guys have anything that you want us to cover for next week's podcast, and depending on the outcome of this game, I'm sure you guys will have lots of it. But more so than anything, make sure you go hit that link and join the Discord. So for Noah, for Izzo, I'm Mike Flaunt, and this is Dubbed Up. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs, baby. Take it home. Come on, please, God.
Oh, God, it would be
so freaking glorious.
I would be so happy to shave my head. I would be
the best a man can get.